So what does a reseller do when they're traveling? They go thrifting. Hi, this is Dena with Left Lane Finds, and welcome back to my channel. I am a part-time reseller. I sell on eBay, Etsy, and Poshmark. And I took a little mini vacation down to Kentucky. And today is the only day I get to thrift. And I am currently in the parking lot of a Goodwill. It's right there behind me. And I can't wait to get in there. I just had lunch, and so I'm ready to go. I'm going to do just a little bit of sourcing. I'm going to be super picky because I already have so much stuff at home that I need to list. And I'm also trying to reorganize my emporium. It always gets away from me, and then it makes it harder to work in there. So I'm doing all kinds of things around that as well. But let's get in there and see what I can find to flip for a profit. Not thrift for a profit, but flip for a profit. Here's a quick scan of the shelves. The store was particularly crowded, made it hard to film. I did find this interesting little lidded bowl for $5.99. The bottom of it says the Sheffield Silver Company, made in USA. These silver-plated serving bowls and other items here, I did look them up, but most of them did not sell for very much. If you see items like this, they're actually made by Wilton Armatel. They also do not sell for very much. When I first walked into that particular Goodwill, and I am near Louisville, Kentucky, I'm probably about 10 or 12 miles outside of the city, I was surprised. I'm like, oh, it's a really big one. That's great. But they didn't have too many aisles in terms of like the housewares, goods area. They had a ton of clothes though. And so I went through those little aisles, and I was particularly looking at all of those like silver plate items, and you saw what I put in the cart there. So I'm going to tack on to the end of this video the haul of the one item I got to resell or flip for profit. But I also want to talk to you guys about what to look for in terms of silver plate, you know, the names and marks and things like that. And also if it's sterling silver, which is a big difference. Now, some of you guys already know all that. I am just learning it myself. So as I learn it, I'm going to teach it to you guys, because I think that's important to keep adding to our knowledge as resellers, so that you don't have to second guess yourself. You don't have to look things up. The more you know, the easier it gets. And so I thought that would be a really good topic to throw in here. So stay tuned for that. Just as I was going to head back to the hotel, I decided, let me just look to see if there's any other thrift stores nearby or on the way home. And sure enough, there was a St. Vincent DePaul's. It was 4/10 of a mile from the Goodwill that I was at. So of course I have to, you know, go and check this location out too. I've actually been to this location before. Oh, it was a long time ago now. And I know they have a really small housewares area, but I did pick up some really nice shoes last time. There were like men's shoes that I was able to get for a good price and flip for a profit. So I'm going to look around and see what I can find in here. Here's just a couple pictures of the houseware area. Unfortunately, I did not find anything to purchase. I stopped at another Goodwill, and I found these Demi-Tasse Wedgwood teacups and saucers, which I thought I might be able to flip for a profit. After I looked them up, in the store, I ended up putting them all back. Turns out that these were not worth as much as I thought they might be. I love the colors on this one. It said Bristol on the bottom. It had a ton of crazing on it. I decided to put this one back as well. Now this is a Dachshund condiment set with the 2 salt and pepper shakers, but I could not for the life of me figure out what the middle part was for. If you know what it's used for, please put it down in the comments. And now it's time for the haul. I only have one item, which is this, for my haul, for all my thrifting that I did down in Kentucky. And this was kind of interesting. I normally avoid anything of the like silver items, you know, a lot of it is silver plate, and I always thought that was kind of worthless. I am wrong about that. And now I have a whole new subject to learn about. I'm going to show you guys or talk to you guys about silver plate and sterling silver items. I said something in the thrift store that I was going to, you know, look up things that I could show you. Well, in doing my searches and trying to educate myself on all the markings around like sterling silver and silver plate, oh my goodness, there is so much, and it depends on whether it's from like the UK or the United States. There are so many markings. Now this is silver plate, and I'm going to see if I can, it's probably going to be backwards to you guys. Okay, let me see if I can get this. Well, it's going to be backwards, but that just says the Sheffield Silver Company, made in the USA. And it doesn't have any other marking on that. So initially you might be like, well, it didn't say silver plate, but that doesn't mean it's not silver plate. You got to look it up. And this is definitely silver plate. If it was sterling, it has to be marked sterling. It has to have the 926 or some of the other markings. The markings from the really early sterling silver has like these little kind of like, I don't know what you want to call them. They almost look like emojis, like little square like designs that they put like 2 or 3 or 4 of them in a row. And that has to do with what year it was that they were made and a whole bunch of other information. It is way, way too much for me to put into a video. I started looking at that and I realized that it would take me so long to get fully educated on that, and then to talk about it on a video, I think everybody would just like tune me out at that point. But I highly, highly suggest you look up or Google sterling silver marks, and then also look up just regular silver plate marks, and then you'll see that there is a big difference between, you know, all the markings and what they mean. So when you come across it in a thrift store, you will definitely have to be standing there doing a lot of research to see if you're fine, if what you found is really worth it to you or not. Now, I think we're pretty safe when if it says sterling on it, it's probably going to be worth some money. And this goes for sterling jewelry, you know, silverware, serving dishes, like all that. If it says sterling, or if you see the 926 on it, then it's definitely going to be worth some money. And if they're not asking too much for it in the thrift store, I would definitely pick it up. I am such a novice in this area that I would be doing a lot of research. I might put it in the cart and research it later, like if I wanted to get around the thrift store and be like, well, let me stand over here and then do my research. I do that. I don't always stand right in front of where I pick things up to do my research. Sometimes I do. And there's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with doing your research in the thrift store, especially if you're learning something new. You don't want to be buying up a bunch of items thinking you might have good items to flip for profit and get them home and find out they're not. So this item I paid $5.99 for. They, you know, upped the price because they thought it was worth something. Now, there's an interesting little tidbit about this. So it has this like bowl underneath here, and then I didn't realize until I was really looking at it, there's a glass bowl in here, and then the lid, and the lid has like a pineapple on it. This is just adorable. Turns out that this is a Pyrex. So this isn't necessarily vintage either. It's vintage enough because it says made in the USA, but of course we all know like vintage Pyrex made in the USA. So they must have did a collaboration with the Sheffield company to make this little serving dish, which I thought is just adorable. I'm gonna have to, you know, get all this tape off, you know, to confirm that, but a lot of the listings talked about this little Pyrex dish. And the interesting thing about it is this is the small version of this item. They actually made like the bigger, like 2 or 3 quart item, like a big serving dish, and this is like a smaller one. So I thought that was interesting too. So you always learn as you're, even if you're just doing, you know, your search on eBay, and then of course I looked up my solds, and this little item, it was selling between $25 and like $28. I thought it was selling for more until I realized when I looked at the other listings that they were for the bigger bowls. The bigger bowl, the bigger version of this, goes for just a little bit more, like $30, you know, so not too much more. And so I still think this was a good item to flip for profit. And I am going to spend some time looking at all those little, they look like hieroglyphics, the little stamps, you know, that they use to indicate that it's sterling silver. So when you see those items, then you know some of this stuff is going to date back to like the 1700s, the 1800s. It's really, really interesting. So I'm going to be less shy about looking at these items. I have been so attracted to them for a long time, but I just didn't know anything about it. And I follow a lot of other thrifter resellers, I hope you guys do too, to find out, you know, more information. And I know one of the thrifter gentlemen that I follow, he finds like sterling silver jewelry all the time, and they always have the jewelry marked at like $4, like earrings, $4. Now, sometimes he sells it as earrings, and sometimes he doesn't. Like, he actually takes it and sells it to one of those like gold and silver places, like he scraps them. So there's 2 ways to get paid when it comes to sterling silver for certain items, so also keep that in mind. Another thing you're going to want to do is when you go on eBay, look up something simple like silver plate platters, and then look at the solds. You'd be surprised at some of the prices that are out there. I mean, not overly high. We're talking anywhere from $15 to $20 to $25 for some of the platters. But if you're picking it up for $3 or $4 and flipping it for $20 or $25, that's still a really good flip. And that's all I have to say on this. I hope you guys enjoyed the thrift with me and my little mini haul here. And as I find out more information, I'll put that into future videos. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe.